Hi, I'm using a mobile phone to show you how to basically use a mobile phone to work out instrument, and also how to use it to target, and also use it on all the instrument I use. So I go through. So this is the 100 monthly. Okay, so basically for the month here, what I'm going to simply do is draw my fib from the low to the high. So if I draw my fib from the low to the high, so all I have to do is the Mt4 on the mobile phone. So go to that side, fib, and then bring that in a bit. So I go to the high to the low for the month. Nicely done. So you can see here the probability that next week, right, we're taking the direction from the month. So you can see here it's sit over 100 and it's nicely sitting on here. So this is the month. So I'm going to go down to the week now. So if I go down to the week and break this down to the week, you can see here, you can see I'm breaking this down to the week. Right, so this week was a strong week push up, and you can see it's above the 20 MA and also the 10 MA. So next week, the probability that it will go high, you can see that this will go high next week. A very strong probability that this will go high. So another positive bull run for next week. So this bull run next week, you can actually break this down and actually look at the next point. So if I break this down to H4, right, we're looking for it to pull back. So my pullback here is open, and then a bit of buying will happen. So draw my fib. Easiest and the quickest way to do this is to use my Fibonacci line. Draw a nice Fibonacci line. Right, as it pull back now, you see. So if you're trading on the 15-minute, okay, if you're trading on the 15-minute, you're looking for it to come in here, and you can just draw your fib, right? And as it comes in, right, a key interest point. So you can see here, right, the bull is strong, right, and the bear is in positive. So for the next 4 hours, looking for opening on Sunday. Okay, so if I move on, this is how I move to the next instrument. So you click into the next instrument, you can go to gold and do exactly the same thing. So gold, the first thing I'm going to do is look for my direction. So how do I look for my direction here? I go to the month, straight away to the month. Okay. So I go to the month. Right. So you can see here, the month shows a very clear indication of going down. So what I'm going to do from here is simple, go to the high point and low point. Easiest thing to do is to draw your Fibonacci, and look how easy this is. Look at how the body sits right within these markers. Okay, so the body sits within these markers. So now you go to so my direction is my bias. The word bias I'm using here. The bias is to go to the lower. So if I go to the lower on my bias, so if I go to the week, so my bias is going down, so selling. So next week, my bias will be selling. My direction I'm taking here for gold is sell. So if I look at the week, you can clearly see, right, it's a pullback from that line. And look at the body nicely. Okay. And you can use these, right? So here you can see the bear is minus 11.76. The bull is 42 point. So basically it has pullback. So what I will be looking for is looking for a position whenever this started to reverse for next week. So as it goes up, you can go even slower, and you could use your fib again. Just your Fibonacci. Very easy, very simple, no complication. Okay. So I put the fib on last week, the high and low, and then I'm going to put it to the 4 hour. You clearly got your markers to be working with. Nicely fit. You can see how nicely it's fit in just using a Fibonacci. Okay. So basically, I will be running the live just to show you exactly. So again, you can choose any, and this is just using my mobile phone, any instrument, right? So we could go US 30. Okay. So I'll go for my month. That's where I'm going to take my bias from. So I go from the month, bias from the month. Okay. Now I'm going to draw my fib. Clearly you can see here, higher, right? So the probability is started to pull back here. Okay, so you want to break this down further to see. So you go to the weekly. You can clearly see you got we just wait now on to see where it will be going. So basically, when the market open on Sunday, you need to see what happened here. So you can see there's a strong push to the upside by the bull. Okay, look at U.S. oil. Go for okay again. Draw your fib. You can see nicely what happened here. Okay, you can see it respecting the Fibonacci for the month here. It comes to 50. Okay, so the bias is to the downside. It started to pull back. It respected the 50%. Okay, so you can see it's bounced from the 50%, but you can see it's below the 20 MA and the 10 MA. So we're looking to see, right, to see it pull back into right here. So the bias, it started to pull down, and you can see there's a tail here. So clearly you can see what happened. So if I go to the week to further break this down, so we're looking for the market to open. I look for the market to open and look for it to come and first point of contact is for it to come and hit right the 20 MA. When it hit the 20 MA, I'm looking for it to basically hit the 20 MA and start making its way down. If that doesn't happen and it respect that and it started to use this, I use my 20 MA as my resistance. Okay, so this is how you can actually use your mobile phone. Very simple, very easy, very straightforward. Okay, so you got all the function. So the way I set this up, I basically use the function, right? And I set up my moving average. So what I did, I set up my moving average 10 MA, simple moving average close, right? I've used that to set up my moving average. And then 20 MA I just set as green exponential, right? So I use simple 10. It's up to you what you're comfortable to use and what you see working for you. Okay, so basically, you can use this anywhere to set up. So 20 MA, close, right, exponential. And now, basically, I use the volume here. So my volume basically is used here to basically help me to understand how much is in the market. And then I've got the bull power and the bear power. So that then gives me an indication of where the market. So if we should analyze this together, you can clearly see. Let's just break this down using all the information I've just showed you. So basically you can see from here, the bear is negative, the bull is negative. So definitely there's a bear here. So my bias, right, coming from the month is accurate. My bias is going down. So I'm looking, when I move down to 4 hour, I'm looking for any pullback from any of these important lines. So I've got things to guide me. I've got the fib line. Those are my point of importance. Those points are where I'm looking for any confirmation. Is the market going to pull back from this point, right? When it's moving up, right? Now, basically, so you look at your day, okay? And then you can break this down further. You got your measurement there. I've got my marker here. Very simple. Very clear, very simple. So you got, again, you can see the indication here, right? negative, negative. So the bear is in strength here. The bear power is strong here. So you can glance and see basically you got your fib line to support your understanding. You got your average 10, average 20. I use exponential 20, right? And you also got your time that you break this down. So what we're looking for is in the Asian market, is it going to be consolidating, right? Going and touching the 20, okay, and pulling back. Okay, if it's keeping in that range, so as it comes through the London session and moving on from the London session, is it moving into sell? So is it going to move above the 20, right? Go across the 10, go across the 20 and heading up, right? And is there any, right, selling pressure there as it comes into the New York session? Okay? And straight away you can go through several. Okay, so you can go through any of the currency, basically. So if I choose Aussie, Yen, okay, right, so Aussie Yen, we got a peak, go back to the month, okay, so very easy. Then drawing resistance, look out for your fib. Okay, so here, notice this line as you can look across. Clearly you can see that it was a resistance here, on the month resistance here. Okay, so we got a marker. We do have a marker. So here is our marker. If I draw it a bit smaller. So for next week, I'm looking for the first marker for Aussie is to hit resistance. So I'll be looking for a buy. Okay. So remember, this is only for educational reason. Only for educational reason. Please only do your own research. I'm just showing you how, right, how you can use your mobile phone, right, to analyze using MT4. I also got MT5, which I'm going to do later, but using MT4 and the facility, what I use, and it gives me a clear indication. It's very easy to do. Okay, I've got my marker, I've got where I'm going now. So basically, you can continue to draw your fib in within these small, and you can see if it's respecting the fib, you got your 20 MA to guide you, right? You got your 10 MA to guide you. You got your bear power, you got your bull power, and you got your volume, right? As these sessions start to come in, you can identify and you can build your edge. You can build an edge clearly from these information without stressing or without looking at anything that's going to, because as long as you got your bias, so my bias here, very simple, straight away, month, my bias to the upside. Why? Because you can see clearly to your left. If you look to your left, if I go back, break this down a bit, if I look to my left, I can see that, right, it respected these areas. I could even draw it a bit taller. So The big boys have hit out all the stop loss here. So the big boys have basically all the guys who put they're selling it. The big boys have stopped them out here, and that's clear. And you can see it reverse here. Go all the way down. It respect that. It moves across here, come down, go up here again, and respect nicely. Nicely, look how it's respecting the fib, right, with the 1 month. So again, clearly, you can see all your markers here, right? So here we go. We're looking for nice buy above the 20, above the 10, nicely. So clearly, that's a buy, okay? And you can do that with all the market, all of them. Very simple. So let's just quickly recap, right? What you want here, you want to you want to line up all your stocks, right? So you need to have all your stocks, right, at a finger clip. You can choose your specific one that you need, or what you can do is basically have all of them and then just go through the list. So again, if we look at Euro US, at this moment, I'm just trialing it out. So basically, I will at a later date invite people to join me when I get used to using this. So don't worry. At this time, I'm just basically going through my understanding of just how you use a mobile phone. So here we go. Nicely, let's just see how the fib. Your fib, draw your Fibonacci. Okay. And clearly, you can see that it's respecting the fib nicely, clearly. So you don't need to draw loads of line. Loads of line. Look at the bodies. Look at the bodies so it respect the 50, right? So here, nicely, it start to pull down. Okay, so it start to pull down, then it start to go into. So we got here for this week, you got, and you can see it start to a bit of buying power. Okay, so if I go to the week and just judge the buying power, okay, clearly you can see here nicely. So go back closer. Okay, another thing I do, right, and you can clearly see when you go closer. So you got the 50 and the 33. All I do, again, and you will check, all I can do is to simply draw my fib. If I draw my fib between these two lines here, have a look at this. Clearly here, right? I will see what happened now if I go down to the week. And you can see, I can get clearly. So I'm showing a very easy, way of identify the line. So the key thing here, right, is the top-down analysis. The top-down analysis is basically looking at basically the month. I take my bias. I take the bias from the month, right? I take the bias from the month and then I look at the week, draw my fib, right? And then I use all the other guide to help me. So it's like maths. What's the probability? So I use the bias monthly. So that's give me my direction. Then what I do, I use the weekly, right, to see where it's going. So you could say here, Europe, last week, basically we have a bit of sell off, very tight body. You can see the week before, last week, which is ending now next week. So we got some selling off here, and we start to have some pullback at the 66, 61.8. Yep. So again, clearly, will it? So if you go to the day, right? If you go to the day, will it respect this? Okay, so that's the first thing. It takes that out. Will that become a will that become a supply or resistance? So if it takes that out, go above here, you can clearly see a target. Very simple. Here, this is very straightforward. I can say here, yep, here is one target. Okay. So you got one target there. Is it going to come and respect this line where we got the 20 MA? Okay, that's my first instant there. If it comes there and the bear take over, it bounces off that and start to head down. I look to sell. If it comes there that and resists, you can see clearly I've got my target where I'm going. Very straightforward. Hopefully you can see how I use all the instrument here. Okay. I will talk about further things later, but this is my first time using this. Thank you very much. And I'll take any question later on, not now.